911, what's your emergency? 911, what's your emergency?
Be advised, Car 4 has control of the pursuit. Proceed with caution.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys this evening? It's good to see everybody. I forgot to turn on my light. So I did not plan to go live tonight, but with everything that happened today in the Delphi case with the defense motions, I felt compelled to hop on and do a short live regarding it. I'm sorry, I'm a hot mess. I had just come from working out at the gym, and I am a mess. So I do apologize. I didn't get a chance to put myself together. But anyway, it's good to see everybody. Hey, Mitzi, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. And hello, Catherine Geslin. Louisa, it's so good to see you. Yeah, so I didn't put out a thumbnail for this live stream. I just basically added the stream to YouTube, so people may not know that I'm live. If they have their notifications, then they'll know. But I'm okay with that, because if people have to catch the replay, I'm good with that as well. But yeah, I was kind of shocked with what's going on with the defense here. I am actually going to be talking with my good friend, the judge, tomorrow night. So it's our weekly Friday night poker night. and I am going to run past him some of the stuff that's going on in the last 10 days or so, just to see and get a feel for what he thinks may be happening here in this case. I'm just beside myself tonight. So let's get into it. I don't want to take up too much of everybody's time with all of this, but I know that there's people out there that want to talk about this, that need to know what the heck's going on. So bear with me, because I've got my documents up, but they're not in the right order, I don't think. So I'm going to try and wing this. So just bear with me. So there was a motion put forth today for a verified notice of continuing representation. Now, as we all know, on the 19th in court in the judge's chambers, both defense attorneys, Andrew Baldwin, verbally quit. And Brad Rozzi, or Rozzi, said he was going to do it in writing and that he was also quitting. So he told the court that he was quitting the case. Well, now he puts forth a motion today, a verified notice of continuing representation. Comes now Attorney Bradley A. Rozzi, counsel for Richard M. Allen, and in support of his verified notice of continuing representation, now swears and affirms as follows. Number one, on November 14th, 2022, counsel entered his appearance on behalf of Richard M. Allen. Counsel has engaged in the continuous representation of defendant Allen since that date and time. On October the 12th, 2023, the court communicated with Prosecutor McClelland, Attorney Rozzi, and Attorney Baldwin, at which time the court ordered Attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin to cease work on Mr. Allen's case until the parties were set to appear in court on October 19th, 2023. So 7 days, a week before the October 19th hearing, the court and the judge sent notice to the attorneys that they were to stop working on the case. The chilling effect of the court's emailed order was to essentially strip the defendant Allen of his Sixth Amendment right to representation and essentially disarm attorneys Rozzi, Baldwin, and defendant Allen during the week leading up to the scheduled hearing, which was ordered by the court sua sponte. In an October 17th, 2023 email, Attorney Rozzi requested a conference to determine what we, the court, prosecutor, and defense counsel, are trying to accomplish on Thursday, especially in terms of what is expected of us while we were on the record in open court. In response, the court ordered both the defense and prosecutor to appear in chambers at 12:30 p.m. on October 19th. On October 19th, 2023, Attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin appeared at hold on one second. The Allen County Courthouse in advance of the 2 p.m. hearing. This was prompted by Attorney Rozzi requesting that the parties communicate in advance of the scheduled hearing. Attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin appeared in chambers on the 19th at approximately 12:30 p.m., at which time the prosecution was present. Attorney Rozzi is of the understanding that the court reporter secured an audio recording of the in-chamber conference, which took place in two parts. Number 6, the court first conducted business as it related to several pending motions by communicating with the parties and issuing rulings on said motions. Number 7, the court then read a prepared statement to attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin identifying various issues throughout the case through which attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin exercised gross negligence in carrying out their responsibilities as counsel for defendant Allen. The court then suggested that attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin engaged in a discussion outside of chambers regarding the allegations. Attorney Attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin asked for clarification, at which time the court communicated to attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin that there were two distinct options. Number one, either voluntarily withdraw their appearance and exit the courthouse in advance of the hearing, or participate in the 2 p.m. hearing in the courtroom where a media camera was installed, the national media was present, and the law enforcement community was seated in the jury box directly behind the defense counsel table, at which time the court would read the prepared statement into the record and then disqualify both Attorney Rozzi and Attorney Baldwin in the presence of Defendant Allen, his family, and the general public. After waiting approximately 1/2 of an hour for Defendant Allen to arrive at the courthouse, Attorney Rozzi and Attorney Baldwin communicated with Defendant Allen regarding the stark choice the court had offered in chambers. Defendant Allen reaffirmed his desire to move forward under the representation of Attorney Rozzi and Attorney Baldwin. As of October 24th, Defendant Allen objects to the court's attempts to strip him of his current counsel, Attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin. After speaking with Mr. Allen, Attorney Rozzi and Attorney Baldwin then returned to chambers, at which time Attorney Rozzi articulated to the court that the court had engaged in an ambush of the defense counsel, entirely void of due process, and that Attorney Rozzi would withdraw his appearance, but that said withdrawal was not a voluntary withdrawal, because the court made clear that if Attorney Rozzi did not agree to withdraw, the court would publicly shame him in front of the world and his client before forcing him off the case by disqualifying him. Of all the events in chambers occurred without any formal allegations of contemptuous behavior by attorneys Rozzi or Baldwin, without any pending pleadings requesting disqualification of defense counsel, and without any pending disciplinary complaints with the Indiana Supreme Court's Disciplinary Commission. In total, attorneys Rozzi and Attorney Baldwin have practiced law in the state of Indiana for more than 50 years without a single substantial finding of a disciplinary action against either. At no time while in chambers did the court ever articulate to either Attorney Rozzi or Attorney Baldwin that their conduct compromised Defendant Allen's defense in any way. In fact, Defendant Allen himself doesn't believe this to be the case. There are no bona fide facts or circumstances wherein Attorney Rozzi engaged in gross negligence, nor was there any showing that any conduct by Attorney Rozzi resulted in negative consequences to another party. For example, the defendant, Allen. In sum, attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin did nothing to compromise Richard M. Allen's defense. Number 14, Attorney Rozzi's oral acquiescence to withdraw his appearance as Defendant Allen's attorney was forced, coerced, and driven only by the circumstances created by the tribunal, which delivered two terrible options: quit or be shamed in public before being disqualified from representing Mr. Allen. The court's premeditated ambush of the defense placed attorneys hang on a second. In a bad situation. Attorney Rozzi remains the only active attorney of record in this cause. On or about October 25th, 2023, Attorney Rozzi filed a motion to disqualify Attorney Rozzi Attorney Rozzi believes that a full and final disposition on the motion to disqualify should take precedent over the issuance of any rulings on the Faxx motion, the disposition of the pending suppression matters, and any other matters of substance which are currently before the court. Further, Defendant Allen believes that any suppression hearing in this cause will require more than 1 day of the court's time and will require the appearance of witnesses, which most certainly cannot be secured between now and October 31st, 2023. It is for these reasons that the Defendant Allen is requesting that the hearing on October 31st, 2023 be continued to a date and time following a full and final disposition of the motion to disqualify filed on October 25th, 2023, and for all other just and proper relief in the premises. Comes now the defendant Richard M. Allen by counsel Bradley A. Rozzi and respectfully requests that this court continue the October 31st, 2023 hearing set in this cause. In support of said motion, defendant Allen states, counsel for defendant Allen is unable to locate any specific order wherein the court scheduled the initial October 31st, 2023 hearing date, nor is there any order which articulates exactly what matters were to be addressed and how much time was to be set aside to address said matters. However, counsel does acknowledge that there have been discussions between the court and lawyers regarding the October 31st, 2023 hearing date and the possibility of the court conducting a hearing on the pending suppression motions filed by defendant Allen. On September 18th, 2023, defendant Allen filed his motion for Frank's hearing. The court has yet to issue a ruling on said motion. On October 2nd, 2023, defendant Allen filed his supplemental motion for Frank's hearing. The court has yet to issue a ruling on said supplemental motion. On October 3rd, 2023, defendant Allen filed an additional Frank's notice, and the court has yet to issue a ruling on the issues raised in said notice. On or about October 14th, 2023, this court ordered defendant Allen's defense team to cease all work on defendant Allen's behalf and therein prohibited counsel from engaging in preparation for the October 31st, 2023 suppression hearing or any other matters associated with this case. On October 19th, 2023, the court engaged in actions which resulted in the court ordering the oral withdrawal of Attorney Baldwin from this cause. And Attorney Rozzi remains the only active attorney of record in this cause. On or about October 25th, Attorney Rozzi filed a motion to disqualify. Now, let's go to the order of judgment of the court. The court notes the following pleadings which may be resolved without further argument or hearing. Number one, the defendant's motion for broadcasting order is overbroad. The court will consider broadcast requests by the media after notice to the defense and the state on a hearing-by-hearing basis. Therefore, the motion for broadcasting order is denied. The defendant's motion to quash the subpoenas requested by the state for the defendant's medical and mental health records is granted, as the state is not entitled to such records. The defendant's verified motion for immediate transfer of custody is denied based upon the state's response and attached affidavits. The defense multiple motions for a Frank's hearing remain unresolved as the court is still reviewing the thousands of pages of exhibits attached to the motions, as well as the multiple hours of digital evidence submitted by counsel. The court will continue to review the same. Defendant's motion to suppress and supplemental motions to suppress, as well as the state's responses, will be set for hearing upon resolution of the defense Frank's motions. Prior to the scheduled hearing this date, attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin advised the court they will be withdrawing their representation of the defendant. Court accepts their representations and orders them withdrawn from the cause. Counsel ordered to comply with the previously entered protective order on discovery and are ordered to turn the discovery over in full to the state of Indiana to be made available to successor counsel. The court requests their cooperation with successor counsel in the best interests of their former client, but it is not requiring them to cooperate. The court will maintain the hearing currently scheduled for October 31st at 9 a.m. in the Carroll Circuit Court for successor counsel to appear. Clerk of the Carroll Circuit Court ordered to remove attorneys Baldwin and Rozzi as attorneys of record in this cause. Hang on one second, guys. I'm just trying to make sure that I got everything for that, which I think I did. Okay. There is a motion, precipice for transcript. Comes now the defendant, Richard M. Allen, by counsel Bradley A. Rozzi. This precipice for transcript in the above captioned matter, said transcript shall show in chamber two-part hearing held on October 19th, 2023 in front of the Honorable Francis S. Gull, including the original recording and transcript thereof. So they're requesting a written transcript of what transpired on the 19th in the judge's chambers. Okay. There is a motion to disqualify. And when I saw this today, I knew exactly what it was going to be about, because the only reason that a defense would be motioning to disqualify would be for the judge. Comes now the accused by counsel and pursuant to Rule 2.11 of the Indiana Code of Judicial Conduct and Rules 12B and D of the Indiana Rules of Criminal Procedure, respectfully and moves for recusal of and change of judge from Judge Francis C. Gull. Number 1, Rule 2.11 of the Indiana Code of Judicial Conduct requires a judge to disqualify himself or herself when the judge's impartiality might reasonably be questioned. Such is the case in this cause of action for the reasons described below. Number 2, the comments to Rule 2.11 provide additional guidance. Number 1, under this rule, a judge is disqualified whenever the judge's impartiality might reasonably be questioned, regardless of whether any of the specific provisions of paragraphs A1 through 6 apply. In many jurisdictions, the term recusal is used interchangeably with the term disqualification. Number 2, a judge's obligation not to hear or decide matters in which disqualification is required applies regardless of whether a motion to disqualify is filed. Number 5, a judge should disclose on the record information that the judge believes the parties or their lawyers might reasonably consider relevant to a possible motion for disqualification, even if the judge believes there is no basis for disqualification. Number 3, Judge Gull has removed and concealed or allowed to be removed by the clerk of Carroll County defense pleadings from the chronological case summary in violation of the Indiana Supreme Court's administrative rules. Those pleadings include Frank's, hold on one second. Motion filed 9/18 of 23. Frank's memorandum filed 9/18/23. 3 affidavits, Warden Gallipo, Sergeant Jones, Sergeant Robinson, filed 10/10 of 23. And the affidavit of the leaker, Mitch Westerman. Judge Gull has not removed or hidden any state filings. Number 4, Indiana access to court records Rule 2A provides in pertinent part. All persons have access to court records as provided in this rule, and that certain persons have greater access to court records. The commentary to ACR Rule 2A is that all persons, including members of the general public, the media, and commercial and non-commercial entities, are entitled to the same basic level of access to court records. And ACR Rule 4 provides that a court record is accessible to the public except as provided in Rule 5. ACR Rule 5A provides that certain entire cases shall be excluded from public access without notice of exclusion, but this entire case has not been declared confidential by statute or rule and meets none of the other criteria laid out in ACR Rule 5A. ACR Rule 5B provides the process for excluding individual case records. However, none of the 13 listed grounds for excluding public access to the records secreted from the docket in this case apply to the above referenced documents, which have either disappeared from the CCS or are inaccessible to the public. Nor were the documents filed using the procedures required by ACR Rule 5B. For example, filing on green paper or filing electronically as a confidential document along with an ACR form, identifying the specific grounds upon which exclusion is based. By secreting pleadings from the docket without following the access to court records rules, Judge Gull has or has allowed violations of public access. Because those acts have only shielded documents from the defendant, these actions clearly demonstrate lack of impartiality and fairness in violation of Judicial Rule 1.1, compliance with the law, and Rule 2.2, impartiality and fairness. Number 5, on October 12, 2023, Judge Gull instructed appointed counsel to cease work on Mr. Allen's case, which interfered with the attorney-client relationship and prejudiced the accused by denying him the timely, effective representation guaranteed to him by the state and federal constitutions. Number 6, on October 19, 2023, Judge Gull conducted critical stage proceedings in chambers outside the presence of the accused, even though she had ordered him transported and he was available. She then did the same after placing his attorneys in an ethical dilemma and again creating a public record outside of the presence of the accused. This ignored clear precedent. Number 7, on October 19, 2023, Judge Gull ambushed appointed counsel with a planned Hobson's choice designed to coerce withdrawals. The choice presented was to suffer a public shaming and be removed from the case or to voluntarily withdraw. Despite defense counsel requesting clarification as to the topics and/or motions to be addressed at the October 19, 2023 hearing, she gave defense counsel no notice of her plan to force withdrawals or remove them, thus denying counsel the opportunity to adequately refute her accusations. Number 8, that same day, Judge Gull had a prepared statement that she threatened to read to the public, alleging defense counsel was grossly negligent in their representation of defendant Allen. Judge Gull's complaint was more about not having control over his counsel, affording them an opportunity to be heard. It has also done so of its own accord without precipitating motion or request. No due process has been afforded. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry. Where is number 9? Hold on, guys. Sorry. By not having control over counsel rather than any legitimate concerns that counsel had engaged in conduct that compromised Richard Allen's defense. A general summary of Judge Gull's complaints are as follows. Number A press release, generic in substance, was issued by the defense in November of 2022 before the court's gag order and only after repeated press conferences by the prosecution. Allen's response. The intent was only to level the playing field. This was well within the obligation of defense counsel by established guidelines. She never expressed any concerns over the multiple press conferences by the prosecution. B, 2 motions filed by the defense, one of which addressed the health and safety of defendant Allen, and the second of which addressed the immediate transfer of the accused due to the not so coincidental and undisputed facts that the individuals engaging in Norse paganistic practices may have not only murdered 2 girls, but that they were also escorting defendant Allen around the prison at the same time his health was in rapid decline. Allen's response. The court had previously ordered the accused transferred to a state prison at the request of the Carroll County Sheriff. His mental and physical health began an immediate decline. Prison guards in his area had Odinist emblems on their uniforms, which endangered their client after the Odinist connection was exposed. The defense had video of the patches, and the guards admitted they wore them. The defense had previously noted a connection between the murders and Odinism. The patches have since been removed. Mr. Rozzi cited instances of abuse. Those filings were within the obligation established guidelines imposed for effective representation. Number C, Mr. Baldwin had drafted an email to co-counsel but sent it to the wrong person due to self-populating in electronic email. Allen's response: this was an accident that happens routinely to most people. The intended recipient, attorney Bradley Rozzi, and the unintended recipient share the same first three letters of their first names. The email attachment contained no substantive information, just a bare bones outline of a tiny portion of the discovery received by the defendant in this case. The court alleged that Mr. Baldwin put improper statements in his Frank's memorandum, not false or misleading statements, just improper in her opinion. Hang on a second, guys. I'm just trying to figure where we're going here. There's so many. Okay. Okay. Got that one. Everything cited by Judge Gull as concerning was either not attributable to Attorney Rozzi or excellent and ethical lawyering in the best interest of the client's defense and mental and physical well-being. Throughout the pendency of this proceeding, the defense has exposed untruths by law enforcement, withholding of exculpatory evidence by the prosecution, and discovery violations about which Judge Gull showed no concern and did nothing. The court has routinely expressed umbrage at defense counsel's representations through investigations and filings, while silently abiding the prosecution's discovery delays and false statements by them or their agents. On October 19, 2023, Judge Gull coerced an oral request to withdraw from Attorney Rozzi that did not comply with Rule 3.8H, Indiana Rules of Trial Procedure, and further coerced an oral request from Attorney Baldwin to withdraw as co-counsel in this cause. Judge Gull has exhibited a lack of concern about and taken no action to protect the physical and mental health of the accused. Throughout these proceedings, Judge Gull has exhibited a bias and prejudice against the accused and his attorneys and in favor of the prosecution. Counsel for the defendant are appointed pauper counsel, and upon appointment, judicial control and oversight of the appointed counsel is inappropriate. The court cannot and should not dictate the process of representation or improvidently curtail the representation of counsel. It is done so without notice to the defendant or his counsel, affording them an opportunity to be heard. It has also done so of its own accord without any precipitating motion or request. No due process has been afforded. Rule 2.11 of the Indiana Code of Judicial Conduct requires a judge to disqualify himself or herself when the judge's impartiality might reasonably be questioned, such as the case in this cause of action, for the reasons described below. And we went through those already. So they're asking for Judge Gull to be removed. Pursuant to the rules states to ensure impartiality and fairness to all parties, a judge must be objective and open-minded. Rule 2.15 of the Indiana Code of Judicial Conduct in pertinent part states, A judge having knowledge that a lawyer has committed a violation of the rules of professional conduct that raises a substantial question regarding the lawyer's honesty, trustworthiness, or fitness as a lawyer in other respects shall inform the appropriate authority. It does not indicate that any such opinion of the court allows removal of appointed counsel without due process and against the wishes of the accused. Judge Gull has violated rules 1.2, 2.2, 2.3, 2.6, 2.8, and 2.11 of the Indiana Code of Judicial Conduct. And this was filed yesterday by Bradley A. Rozzi. This is a lot, you guys. I mean, this is a lot. And it's just mind-boggling to me. Let me go back and welcome everybody that I missed. So hang on a second here. Gail, thank you so much for your super sticker. I certainly appreciate it so much. I appreciate it. Okay. Hey, David, how are you? Okay, so hey, Miranda, how are you? Let's see here. Hi, Awatha, how are you? Hey, CJK, how are you? Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Shadowbox, how are you? I hear you. Hey, Deborah, how are you? That's interesting. How are you? Hey, Rescue All the Dogs. How are you? Hey, Chris Owens. Yeah, they certainly did. They were going to be fired anyway. Hang on a second here. Hey, Stephanie, how are you? Yeah, me too, CJK. Oh, hey, Frank Meister, how are you? Good to see you. Just because you have an Odin patch doesn't mean that you are abusing prisoners. I just want to put that out there. They've never had any complaints against them for abusing a prisoner. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think they know who they're up against. Hey, John, how are you? I'm so glad you're here. She has acted with the utmost decorum. Sadly to say, the defense hasn't. With their 50 years of experience, they know better. Their Frank's motion was a complete joke. And any lawyer out there that has any kind of ethics would say the same. Hey, Tech Death. So first of all, let me clarify something. When you have a court-appointed attorney because you're indigent and can't afford counsel yourself, you are not allowed to pick that counsel. So even though he doesn't want counsel removed, if the court deems that they need to be removed because of improper lawyering, which is exactly what she was doing, she has every legal right to do this. He does not get to choose his attorney, David Gray, because he's not paying for them. The state of Indiana is. The court chooses the attorney, and then they decide when the attorneys are not doing what they're supposed to. She gave these attorneys buco chances all this year to stop playing games with with their motions. And if you go and listen to any reputable attorneys talk about this case, defense attorneys especially, they will tell you that this is completely unheard of what they've been doing, especially with the Faxx motion. So it isn't illegal. Thank you. So it was recorded. There is a recording of what transpired in chambers on the 19th. As far as whether or not it's video recorded, that I don't think so. So let's see. Let's see. Yeah, no kidding. I don't know who the Matas are, or Motas. I don't know who that is. Don't have a clue who that is. So anyway, I don't know if you guys are aware of the podcast Surviving the Survivor, but it is amazing. And they had a great live stream a couple of days ago on this case. And they had Susan Hendricks on. They had the prosecutors were on. And it's really good because if you really listen to everything that they talk about, it really brought up some really good points. This case is beyond crazy right now. And I agree with you, Mitzi. The reason he is being housed at Westville Correctional is for his safety. I was in Delphi this past weekend, and I was right there at the sheriff's office. And if you want to know how small that place is, I mean, seriously, they don't have the room to protect him. They don't have a way to isolate him from other prisoners. And with this case being as high profile as it is, they need to be able to protect him. And I firmly believe what the warden has stated in open court, that he is not being treated any worse than anyone else. Yes, he's innocent until proven guilty. But again, the mindset that is out there amongst people that think that there is a conspiracy to railroad Richard Allen absolutely just makes me laugh. Do you not think that there is much better so-called POIs out there that they could have pinned this on, you guys? Stop and think about what you're saying when you say that. And all of these people, what married couple? What married couple are you talking about? The defense lawyers. What married couple? Because if you're talking about the murder sheet, forget it. I don't even want to hear about it. Take that to their channel, because I'm not going to even talk about them. And just so you know, I was appalled to find out that there were patches being worn by these wardens or by these jailers, because being the fact that you're in some sort of a uniforms are usually, you have a said uniform, this is what you have to wear, and you can't add to or take away. So I was very, very surprised by this. Do I believe it took place? Of course I do. Have we seen proof of it? No. Just because the defense says it doesn't make it true. I want to see it in a court of law. I want to see the evidence presented in front of a jury. And I'm just here to tell you that there is this whole conspiracy theory craze that is in our country right now is ridiculous. People do not realize how many people have to be involved for a conspiracy to take place. And so, again, all of these things that are being brought up in chat, none of this stuff has come out in court. This has been in a defense motion that they filed that was 134 pages long, that was supposed to be a Faxx motion. And if you listen to any attorney talk about what a Faxx motion is, that should have taken about 3 pages, not 134. They put forth their whole freaking case. Their whole case. And under the guise of a Faxx motion. And they made sure that it got into the public's hands so that it would be out here on social media to create this shitstorm that we are all experiencing. Oh, I know, Stephanie. I do. Conspiracy theorists are out there everywhere. Look at all the people that went to Texas waiting for JFK Jr. to show back up. I'm sure some of those people follow this case. I just get really, really fed up with this whole, let's just jump in and believe everything that this defense has put forth. They're trying to defend this guy. That is what they're supposed to do. But the stuff that they brought forward and have talked about in this motion that they put forth has already been vetted by the FBI and by law enforcement. So I just shake my head. I do not believe that the judge needs to be recused in this case at all. I think that she's handled the case very well up until now. She has not made any decisions on this ridiculous motion by the defense, as she stated in her motions that she did make a ruling on the 19th in front of them in chambers, was because there's thousands of pages of exhibits that they attached to the 134 page document, along with all the recordings of the interviews and the depositions. She has to listen to all that. This isn't her only case. She's busy. She's a busy woman. And, it makes me furious because everybody wants to talk about Richard Allen's rights. Where the hell are Abby and Libby's rights? Where's the victims' rights? Who's looking out for those? This man set on a phone call multiple times, both to his mother and his wife, and confessed to this crime. You got that right, John. It is the new national pastime. We know where it comes from as well. If you don't have evidence, you just make shit up. Does everybody know about the big lie? So, one of the other things too is that, I want him to get a fair trial. I've wanted that obviously since day one. I want everyone to have a fair trial. That's what the US Constitution affords everyone. We all know that doesn't happen, right? If you don't have money and if you happen to be the wrong skin color, you're not going to necessarily get a fair shake of anything. But you can't talk about that, because if you talk about that, then you're ridiculous as well. He was in his right mind. Don't play that game with me. I know that you're kidding, but I know what you mean. I have also heard rumors that are swirling around the daughter and the son-in-law. And that's one reason why you haven't seen their support in court. So I'm just saying, we don't have all the evidence. None of this has been presented in the court, in a court of law, with 12 jurors of his peers. None of this. These are motions. And, the defense they're going to throw every spitball they've got at the wall to see if it sticks. Especially when they don't have a defense. It would be different if they could put him somewhere else that day, but they can't. He was there. He's admitted he was there. They have his car on camera arriving. They know when he was there. They have eyewitnesses that saw him, that placed him at the bridge. It's not just one thing. And I have a feeling they have much more than that. Stephanie, what a good thing to say, because it is true. In extremely high profile cases, they make sure they get the right person. They know they are being watched. Exactly. Every single one of these law enforcement individuals, along with the prosecution, are being watched by the entire world. This can make or break a career. Same with the defense. They were being watched as well. And everybody that I've listened to that's a defense attorney out there has said that they absolutely screwed up. They screwed up the Frank's motion. They screwed up at the last year or spring when she had to admonish them after the gag order for releasing information that should never have been out there. Then they give some freaking excuse about, well, it was an accident. We didn't do this. Come on. If you've got 50 years of experience as an attorney and you're working on this kind of a case, everything is under lock and key. It's absolutely true. You have to maintain your ethics. Now, were the attorneys aware of what happened with the crime scene photos? I have no idea. I don't know. But I can tell you one thing. I don't trust them. They've been doing a lot of shady crap. They've been talking to podcasters and content creators that are absolutely out there trying to prove Richard Allen innocent. And from day one, because he didn't fit their POI, and they want to die on their hill with their person of interest. It's hard to have opinions when you haven't seen all the evidence. Flora should have been high profile, but Flora got stuck on the back burner because it's race involved, in my opinion. And when you are in that area and that county, you can feel it. I can't believe the number of people that have no business with their hands in the middle of this case, having their hands in the middle of this case. I mean, when you stop and think about it, CJK, the defense asked for it. If you remember when they had that little press conference last fall outside the courtroom, that mini press conference, they asked for anybody who wanted to help the defense or Richard Allen to please contact them. So they opened themselves up for all the crazies online to do just that. And I've said it before. I mean, I followed this case from day one. I want the right person or persons to pay for this crime. I want the right person or persons to pay for Flora. But I will also state that I am not one of those people that thinks all of law enforcement is corrupt and that everybody in law enforcement is out to get you. I have family members who are members of law enforcement. I have friends who are members of law enforcement. I have friends who are part of the judicial system. And it's just ridiculous. It is a damn mess. I said the other night, I call it Delphiville because it's just become a circus. And it's a circus because of a lot of what's going on online and all the talk. And, you know, people can stop and leave messages on my live streams. I really don't care. I really don't. About how I'm biased and all of this. You know, I try to be fact-based. You guys who follow me know that about me. You also know that I'm very emotional when it does come to this case. But at the same time, I try to look at things from all angles. And everybody that was mentioned in that 134-page document, two of them, I deep dove when I was still over on Reddit. One of my Reddit moderators thought that the number one guy that they named was Bridge Guy. And she went to the mat. I don't know how many times she found information and turned him in. It is sad. Thank you, CJK. You're so kind. This isn't entertainment, and it shouldn't be entertainment. This is real life. These are real people. These are Abby and Libby were real people. Mitzi, 7 months, my dear. Thank you so much for being a member for 7 months. All of you who've been members, and there's a lot of you who've been members with me since my membership started last May. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I think there's going to be a lot of information coming out that we do not know. And I think there's going to be a lot of information as to what really led police down the path of where they are. Because I do believe in my heart of hearts that there was a relook at everything from back in the beginning, which I had been calling for a while. And it's like, you're never going to have true justice for these girls if we can't stop for 5 seconds and think about the fact that this isn't about us at all. And we don't know anything because we don't have the evidence in front of us. We can think about things, and we can talk about things, and we can say, oh, maybe this happened and maybe that happened, but we don't know. And David, I'm going to ask you to please be nice to John. He's one of my longtime, if not my longest member in this community, and he's a good person. So please don't speak to him disrespectfully. You guys can agree to disagree. No, Stephanie, we haven't seen any discovery evidence yet. We've seen stuff that the defense would like us to think is discovery evidence. And it's like, I've often said this to you guys and everyone who follows me. Be careful at who you watch. Be careful at who you choose to follow and choose to partake of the information. These girls deserve nothing less. If you guys watched my live stream on Tuesday, I used my old Delphi intro video that I haven't played in a long time. And in that video, I say it's important. It's important how we choose to tell their story and how we choose to follow and report on this case. And I will agree with Stephanie. I think it was Stephanie that said it. There are a lot of content creators here that are here for all the wrong reasons. They aren't here for the girls. They're not here for justice. I want the truth. And it doesn't matter what happens in a court of law, because once a court of law makes a determination, whether about guilt or innocence, there will still be a huge faction of people who do not believe that and believe they got it wrong. So it doesn't really matter. But if you can listen with an open mind to all of the evidence, as a person brand new who doesn't know all the crap and garbage that's gone on in this case, if you can listen to all the evidence in court and come to a conclusion at the end of the case, that's saying something. Because it's not an easy task. It is not. I've been on a grand jury. I sat on a grand jury. I've been on a petit jury. It is not easy, you guys, to sit and listen to every little tidbit of evidence being garnered to you. And when they start getting into DNA and all of the science of it, if you don't have a science mentality or background, you can find yourself lost and not know what the heck they're talking about. That's why expert testimony is so important in these cases. When you're talking about the collection of evidence, the processing and forensic of the evidence, you know, all of that. Somebody posted on my live stream on Tuesday night that the bullet was found days after the girls were killed. That is a lie. That is not true. And I don't know who's spreading that, but that is not what happened. So I always tell everyone, if you don't like what's on the live streams that you're watching, turn them off. Find something else to watch or something else to do. If you don't agree with what's being said out there and you don't like the way it's being presented, start your own YouTube channel. It's not as easy to do a YouTube channel as some people think. It's real easy to critique them. Hey, Randy, how are you, my dear? So good to see you. I hope you're feeling well. Yeah, CJK, I figured that that's who it was that was, that was commenting. But the bullet was found between the girls' bodies, and it was processed by the crime scene techs. Yeah, it's not easy. And you do have to have pretty thick skin because it can get really crazy. David, I'm fine with you. I'm just saying, try not to be disrespectful. And I appreciate you. I always have. I'm going to agree to disagree with you, but I'm not going to ever be disrespectful to you. It's but yeah, that's just my feeling on, to tell people what they, when they become such critiquers of me and my channel. But I mean, it's so easy to point fingers and all of that. But I want you to bring the receipts. I want you to bring the tea. So if you are going to tell me something and you're going to try to convince me that it's factual, you got to bring me the evidence. I've just always been that way. I'll never understand, CJK, why some people think it's okay to go out there and just start spewing rumors and untruths when we're dealing with a factual case of murdered children. I mean, it's just, you stop and think about what has been said about this defendant in his life and some of the things that, was happening with him at work, how he was removed from positions because of how he was around women, how he treated women, things like that. That's just leads more to wonder, what kind of life did this guy really lead? Was he really leading a secret life and having some sort of bizarre fantasy life? What was the motive? What led him to think he could do what he did? And again, as I've said now ever since we know or have been told that he confessed to his mother and to his wife, is what person would do that? Can you imagine going to your mother and admitting to her that you brutally murdered 2 little girls? Not to mention your wife and high school sweetheart. It's not like that was a coerced confession in some interrogation, you guys. He was on the phone with his family. And he's already there. He's admitted it. And he also placed himself there wearing the same clothes as Bridge Guy. We have an unspent shell casing that has been linked to his gun. I mean, it's not just one thing. This stuff starts stacking up and adding up and stacking up and stacking up. And when that's happening, I'm sure we will Shadowbox, because from what I understand, she may be a prosecution witness. So if we ever do make it to court, we may very well hear from her. I like that, Gail. I like that. There's a lot of, I was having this discussion with someone over the weekend about why do people follow content creators the way in which they do. And, there's a lot of people out there that need their followers. They need to follow. They need a leader. They need someone to lead them. They need someone to tell them what to believe. Sadly, we have a world, my daughter said this, sadly, we have a world where people no longer can think for themselves. They can't make up their own minds. They have to latch on to what someone else believes or thinks. Well, Mitzi, I'll tell you what, I was listening to the Survivor podcast last night, and they were talking just about that, about his voice and the fact that since the murders, he doesn't talk much. Everyone was talking about how he just honestly doesn't talk much. She ordered for them. I mean, it was just almost like he wanted to keep his voice quiet. So, and David Gray, you have no way to know that. You have absolutely no way to know that. It isn't the size of the dog in the fight. So you have no way of knowing that. And you have no way of knowing how brave or unbrave he is. He definitely served in the military. So he would know some tactics, some tactical stuff just because of his service. Yeah, you're right, Shadow. I do think it is become reality TV. In way. So, and I'm sorry that you are an abuse victim. But you don't know that about Richard Allen is what I mean. Not talking about what you've gone through yourself. I'm telling you about him. And if anything, if this and BTK, I always go back to BTK, because if you for 1 minute think that BTK's wife had any clue who she was sleeping next to, we don't know people. We don't really know people. We think we do until they do something horrific. And then you're like, my God, I have no idea. I have no idea that this person was like this. Yep. Exactly. These were two little girls, 13 and 14 years old. And they were terrified, I'm sure. And you don't know that, David, because you don't know the history of everyone here. So you don't know what evil we know or don't know. Please don't say things like that. You may very well know evil, but I'm sure there's a lot of us out here that know evil as well, or have known it. You have to remember that. I often said that from the very beginning, that I felt Bridge Guy was military trained. It is really raining, you guys. I mean, it has been raining here all day. I don't know if it's raining in Indiana, but it has been raining here all day long. It sounds like it's really hitting the ceiling right now. I'm sorry about that, Shadowbox. But getting back to this, first of all, I'm kind of floored that when I saw the motions, I'm like, why is Rozzi still on the case? I was confused by that. So it'll be real interesting to see what her response to all of this is. Yep, Randy, I felt the same way. Probably because I come from a military family, so and that's probably why, because I have a lot of knowledge about the military. It's not raining, David. Well, it's headed your way. It's definitely headed your way, as it has been raining here like cats and dogs all day long. And we're about 3 hours from Delphi. So, because people have always said they didn't know how Bridge Guy would be able to do this by himself if this was a lone wolf type situation. If you have military training, you know how to kill quickly. So I'm just saying, you learn that. You learn that in basic training. Now, being trained and being able to do it, that's a completely different thing. I have a fruit fly that's loose in my office. It's driving me crazy. I love it too. I just don't want it to rain on Halloween, because I always hate it if the kids have to wear stuff over their costumes and stuff. And I have my young grandson, my 6-year-old tomorrow. I'm keeping him tomorrow night overnight because his mom and dad and older brothers are going to one of our really big haunted houses here in Illinois. And so they're going to do that. And so we're keeping him. So I don't like it if it's all rainy and he can't get outside because, yep, I'm a Halloween baby. That's really cool. I've only met a couple people my entire life that were born on Halloween. So that's pretty cool. I love it though. I love having that birthday. It's a fun day. It's a fun time. And this is my favorite time of year. I love the fall of the year. I love when it's been really weird here this week because it's been so freaking warm. People were already with their sweatshirts and, everybody had put all their summer stuff pretty much away because it had already been kind of cold here. And then boom, we get this heat stroke kind of thing going on. And, I'm ready for it to be, crisp air and cold where you want to go out with a fire and roast some marshmallows and, I love that time, that fall time of the year. I can't believe we're getting ready to start November already. You guys, it's crazy. Oh, I hope to. I always spend my birthday with my best friend. It's just been one of the things that I've done my whole life. And so my family they all know that's what's happening. So we usually always meet over there at her house and the kids go trick-or-treating. Her grandkids, my kids, my grandkids, my kids, whatever. My husband always told me that I should never have to give Halloween candy out on my birthday. He said, it's your birthday. You shouldn't have to stay at home and pass out candy to other people. That's not what you should have to do on your birthday. So my best friend always was the one who said, just come here. And I'm lucky because we just live 2 seconds from each other, basically, which is kind of crazy in itself, but cool. Shadowbox. I know. When I walk into Michael's or to Hobby Lobby or someplace, and I always see in August, I see their Christmas decorations going up. I'm like, wait a minute. It hasn't even been my birthday yet. We have a cool store here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it or not. It's called At Home. And they've had their Christmas trees up for quite a while. So yeah, I get it. Retail needs to have time to make money. And so I get why they put their stuff out when they do. It doesn't bother me. If you want to do that, more power to you. I don't care. It's not causing me any pain. I just don't want people to forget about Halloween, And I have got a ton of diamond paintings to work on. One of the things with my diamond painting events that I do online with YouTube and stuff and Facebook is that a lot of these diamond painters will host events. Sometimes they do it for a whole month or 2 months at a time. And so thanks, Gail. We're just finishing up with the Halloween one that I did. I finished 2 paintings for this event. I'm working on my 3rd one. And I won't get my 3rd one done by my birthday, but it's so much fun. And so we're getting ready to start the ones for the holidays for Christmas. I got quite a few of those that I need to do. But yeah, we're getting ready to have the holidays, and I can't believe that this year's almost over. You guys, where did it all go? Where did the time go? It's so crazy. Oh, Gail, thank you so much for the super sticker. I so appreciate you. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, that's interesting. We just got it. We haven't had it very long, maybe 6 months or so, but it is a cool store. I can't get over how big it is. I mean, it's really huge. It's got tons of stuff. I could spend hours and hours in there. But I'm a Marshall's, TJ Maxx, and Home Goods person too. I love that stuff. I'm the same thing. Oh, Gail, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll make sure that I get a chai tea because I love my chai tea. And nothing better on these cool mornings. I stopped at Starbucks on my way back from working out, you guys. I was like, I got to have my Starbucks. But so yeah, I mean, what can I say? I just I don't think I got your message, Shadowbox. I don't think I got your message. I saw that you sent something, but I'm not sure where you sent it. I didn't get it in my email. If you want to send it to me in my email. Oh, I tell you, I will tell you, CJK, that by my email. The best way to contact me is through my email. If one of my, hold on a second, I'm not sure if it'll do this. There it is. So that's my email right there. That's the best way to contact me. Had I not started working out when I did, I would have never been able to make the walk on Saturday. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it or not, but because I have a torn meniscus in my left knee, and it is really, and I've been dealing with it since March of 2022. And I wanted to get all this weight off before I have surgery on it, because I didn't want to have surgery and then have all the weight. I mean, that would be, to me, just kind of crazy. So I've been literally limping along. So I'm getting stronger every day. I've lost 46 pounds since August when I had my surgery. So right now I'm sitting at 146 pounds is what I've lost. And going strong. And I still have a ways to go, obviously, but I am excited. I feel like I got my life back. I can't say enough about that. And, I feel for anyone who is in that position. Like I said before, when I talked to you guys about it, I lost my mom in 2017 on Labor Day, and I lost my dad a month later, and I spiraled into a horrific depression. And when that happened and I became really depressed clinically, then COVID happened. And I was working from home. So it was so easy to just become a hermit And that's exactly what I did. And I am a very outgoing, active person. I always have been. And, and I've always felt like I needed, to put myself out there and just be in the moment. So for me to just kind of let everything go to heck, so to speak, because that's exactly what I did. I stopped all self-care for myself, and I just, didn't think about it and tried to just put it out of my mind. And in doing so, I just gained this enormous amount of weight. And it is what it is. I made the conscious effort and a conscious decision a year ago, July, when I was diagnosed with diabetes. You guys probably who have followed me remember how sick I was last summer, a year ago. And I was having all kinds of issues with my asthma. I was having all kinds of issues with not being able to sleep. I was having constant urinary tract infections, which is a sign of diabetes. And so I, finally got diagnosed, and I basically took the bull by the horns. I was like, this is not going to stand, because my grandfather lost a leg to diabetes. I have diabetes in my family on my dad's side. And I'm like, there's no way that I am going to let this ruin my life. I'm too young and too vibrant of a person. And I was like, you got to snap out of this, Kristen, and you have to get yourself well. And so when I had the heart issue in October a year ago, that was another eye opener for me. And I was just like, you've got to do something. Well, my endocrinologist, who sees me for my diabetes, is the one who put me on Mounjaro. I had already met with the surgeon to have my surgery and get all that started. And you have to take all these classes and all this stuff and do all these tests and everything. It takes about a year. But I started on Mounjaro the 1st of December of last year. And like I said, I lost 100 pounds before surgery. Mounjaro is an amazing thing. And if you know anyone out there with diabetes that is having issues, I can't say enough about it. It is different than Ozempic because it actually, there are two things that it addresses rather than just one. And I'll tell you what, it was a life changer. John, I'm telling you, I can't believe it. When I went, it's been about 4 weeks ago that I had my checkup with my endocrinologist, and my A1C was 4.9. They had not seen an A1C that low ever in that clinic. She said I was a poster child for Mounjaro. Yes, CJK, if you don't have insurance, it's about $1,200, I think, like $1,200 a month. But my insurance is through TRICARE, which is the military insurance, and it covers it. I paid $68 a month is what I paid. And I had to get my health back because I am not getting any younger, guys. I'm going to be 62 next week. And so I was like, it's now or never for me. And that was where I decided that, so yeah, check it out and see what happens, because I think it's coming. I think there'll be a point where right now for Mounjaro, you have to have diabetes to be able to take it. And I think that there'll come a point where they will allow others to take it, I hope, because it's just amazing. And I had no side effects. The only side effect that I would say that I had was I had a little bit of nausea the first day or two that I took it, that I take my shot. But other than that, I had nothing. So, yeah, it's not fun. You know, the mental health issues in this country, it's almost like there's this taboo. We don't talk about them. If you do talk about it, you know, you end up, you know, with some sort of a label and all of that. And I'm just, oh, Gail, I hope that goes well. I lost my gallbladder. I've been living without a gallbladder for about 12 years. So I know what that's like. If you've had gallbladder attacks, you won't have those anymore. And it'll be worth it. But if they're doing it laparoscopically, it's so minimally invasive, you will bounce right back from that surgery, or you should. But yeah, that's what's been going on. Like I said, with my health, my asthma has been, knock on wood, has been controlled for about the last 8 months. I haven't had too many issues at all. I hardly ever use my inhaler anymore. And I definitely believe it's because of my lifestyle change and that, and what I eat. And that's, you know, that's all I can say to that. But yeah, Gail, I hope all goes well for you. We'll be thinking about you. Most definitely. But I wanted to come on. I just, like I said, you guys, I felt like I needed to be here. I needed to tell you that what the emotions were that happened. You know, Frank Meister was wonderful and sent me the stuff. And I was just like, what the heck, you know, what's going on? And yeah, thanks, Shadowbox. I'm glad that you noticed, because I really am breathing like a whole new woman. It's just crazy. All of those are good things though, right? But I wanted to come on and talk about it because I was so shocked that Rozzi's still on the case. I feel that Francis Gull had every reason to be angry and upset with the defense team. I do feel that they were being unprofessional, and that ethically they were doing things that should not be happening. And I agreed with her taking them off the case. And in my opinion, she gave them the opportunity. She gave them the opportunity to either, you know, leave on your own accord, or I'm going to go out there in the court and I'll just do it officially right there and remove you. I thought that was nice of her. She didn't need to do that. She didn't have to do that. And if this had been their first offense, maybe she would have said, you know, let's talk about this, and give them a chance to respond. But I think she was so over what they had done, and just in the 134-page document to me. And then when she sees the crime scene photos are released, come on, you guys, that stuff just doesn't happen. I mean, it just doesn't happen. And the way they cite themselves as being attorneys with 50 years experience, and you can't keep your crime scene photos locked up under lock and key so nobody else has access to them. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on my birthday. We were supposed to have some sort of a hearing. I don't think that I was expecting it to be anything major, simply because at that point she didn't believe that he still had representation, and she was trying to find people to represent him. So it's going to be interesting to see what transpires between now and then with the court and what their response to is of this. I believe that the motion for her to be removed will go to the Indiana Supreme Court. I believe they will be the ones that take a look at this, and they'll be the ones to make the decision. I believe that's how that will happen. I'm going to verify all of that, but that's what I think. That's my opinion, not fact. Okay, guys? I hope you guys all have a great rest of your evening. I'm going to hop off here and get a shower. And like I said, I rushed home from working out thinking, you know, I need to go live. And so here I was. And, you know, it is what it is. You guys got me, you know, with little to no makeup on and just me. You just got me. But I thank all of you for being here tonight and for listening. Please like and share, comment if you want. Let me know what you're thinking, what your thoughts are on everything, and let me know if there's anything that I need to know from you. Okay, Shadowbox, I'll look for your email. Thank you so much. I hope everyone has a great rest of their weekend. Stay safe out there. Please be kind to one another and pay it forward if you get a chance to. For those who catch me on the replay, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. For everyone who subscribes to me and who is a member of my channel, thank you again. I appreciate everything. So thanks a lot, guys. I am working on a live stream coming soon. I will have Fig Solves and the captain from True Crime Garage back on. So that's my next big guest appearance that I'm working on. So have a good night, guys. Be safe out there.